far from others. An audio medium unlike anything you've ever heard before. The pinnacle of sound experience. Jacked and Canned. Featuring John Tessman and Colby Tyler. A place where you will get the information you crave and hear about the topics that you love. Presented by themselves. Coming to you from the basement, bar, and the bedroom. Sponsored by no one. Jacked and Canned.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Jacked and Canned Roundtable episode. You are joined by me. Colbs is not here. At least he's not here for this segment because you've waited for it. I've waited for it. Who is on top? Colbs, just sit. Don't even say anything. You know what? For the YouTube observers out there, we're going full camera on me. Colbs is definitely not here. So with that said, ladies and gents, buckle up. NBA playoffs. Wow, Colbs, have I missed a lot? I might need your help. I'm going to come back to the NBA playoffs. So we're going to do something a little different. We're going over to the MLB standings because we know Colbs loves Major League Baseball with all of his heart. The AL East, the Yankees sitting on top 22-8, followed by the Rays. Colbs, they're not looking bad this year. Don't say anything yet, because I know you're a Tampa Rays fan. I'm going to leave it there. AL Central, Twins sitting on top. AL West, damn, the Angels, is it finally their season? 21-11. They got Ohtani. They got Trout. Both of them are looking great. They're healthy. They just had a no-hitter from one of their pitchers the other day. They are on top of it. Last 10 games sitting at 7-3. National League, NL East, Colbs. Damn, I remember saying this last year during the Sports Roundtable episode. The Mets are hot, but they always start hot. So we're going to see how that goes. But the Mets sitting on top over there at 21-10. They have such a large lead already. I get it. It's early in the season, but a 7-game jumpstart on the Marlins. And let's face it, the Marlins, well, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to end at the end of the season there. NL Central, Brewers sitting on top. NL West, of course, the Dodgers are up there. But it's a tight race. We got the Padres followed up right behind them, along with the San Francisco Giants, because for some reason, it doesn't matter what year it is. You can never rule out the Giants. We talked about that last season, so it looks like it's going to just follow the same trend as every single year for that particular division. Colbs, what else we got going on out there? Oh, we got NHL playoffs. We got NBA playoffs. I don't think I'm going to hit you this week with the whole indoor football league, but I will hit you with the good old-fashioned USFL, the United States Football League, because, Colbs, I know that you haven't been paying attention to this, so I'm going to catch you up. The division, North Division to be more specific, the Generals sitting on top over there. We got the South Division, the Stallions sitting on top, and that's it for the USFL. Colbs. That's who's on top so far, my friend. We can't really say who's on top in the playoffs because there's just so much going on. And I did get a chance to catch a couple of games here and there when I was out on this cruise ship vacation. And may I say, the Celtics look pretty good.
Well, John, it is so good to have you back. Holy shit. Does it feel nice not having to do 40 minutes by myself uninterrupted? And I mean, the amount of inhale that I heard from myself these last 2 weeks has just been enormous. I can't tell you how happy I am to have somebody to take that back so that when you're talking, I can actually take a breath. It's just phenomenal. Also, beyond that,
cheers.
You did mention the Giants. And the one thing I wanted to point out is that I actually did make the exact same statement either 1 week or 2 weeks ago. I said, holy shit, this same thing is happening as last year. Nobody knows why the Giants are here, but the Giants are apparently just going to be here for the entirety of the regular season. I don't understand it.
Oh, that's awesome.
John, another thing that I think I found out, you had been doing the AHL, right? And
I have.
I'm pretty sure, because I just noticed last week when I went to go cover who's on top and pulled up the AHL, all the records were now like 0-2. Nobody had played more than 3 games. And I'm pretty sure we were reading the final season standings for like the last 6 weeks. We've just been covering the same exact who's on top. And that was why the playoffs were already all set, because the season had already happened. So that's what happens when John takes over with who's on top. He gives you a season that's been concluded for months.
Well, while we're at it, I might as well cover the NBA standings again for those of you that didn't see that just yet. No, but Colbs, I just tried to look up the AHL before we started recording this, and it seemed a little confusing. There were some 0-2s and 3-1 and 2-0, and I said, I don't know what's going on. So AHL, I'm not going to name you. And guess who's not going to be upset? This guy right here, Colbs. He ain't going to be upset.
No, I'm not upset.
This guy is not upset at all. Very happy. He's very, very happy that I didn't mention the AHL. I almost said AFL. Colbs, I didn't mention FCF, but there was a huge trade that just took place with T.O. Got to give that out there real quick. So T.O. is
already wanted out of his first team.
Him and Johnny Manziel broke up. So,
never seen him break up with a quarterback before.
Well, they got shut out in their last game. I think they lost 28-0.
Oh, yeah, no, that's an immediate recipe for he didn't give me the ball enough, I'm out.
But he is saying that he is ready for NFL, so he's throwing it out there to the teams.
No, that's good. I'm glad that he requested a trade from whatever it is, fan-controlled football. He demanded a trade, and now he wants to go back to the NFL. Like, dude, you've been out of the NFL for, what, at this point, like 6-7 years? Nobody wants you.
Longer than that, right? Did he stop at 8? You're good with this, Cole. So a little trivia question for you. At what age did Terrell Owens get out of the NFL?
I think he was 36 his last season, if I'm not mistaken. He might have turned 37 during it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that pretty much lines him up for his age now.
Ooh, Cole, so freaking close. Wow. Actually, all right, this kind of blows my mind. I had no idea that this was even a real thing. But at age 37, he almost had 1,000 receiving yard season in 2010 with Cincy when he was 37 years old. He had a pretty productive year, like 9 touchdowns. I think T.O. definitely had some more in the gas tank. Why the hell didn't he play more then if he was willing to do so?
Well, he didn't have as much in the gas tank as you might be thinking just by reading some stats, assuming that means that he was just fully healthy all the time. That means that he played pretty well in, what was a decent little bit of an era there for the Bengals offensively. And keep in mind that they had some other wide receiver help at the time. But the other piece of that too, John, is imagine this now. That was then, and you said he was 37 back then. That was 2010. He's now 12 years later than that. So 48. That puts him around 48, 49. Yeah, he's not coming back now. The only people that played that long are George Blanda, the Anderson Kicker brothers, and Tom Brady.
And T.O. now. I hope that he doesn't.
You can't expect a receiver to come back in his late 40s. They're not quarterbacks or kickers, John.
I'm hopeful that he will. We're going to stick with that. I'm hopeful that he's going to be back. Dude, I didn't mention FCF. I didn't really dive too much into USFL and Colbs. When I was on this vacation, we'll talk more about it on the regular episode, but I did go to the sports lounge and I'm like, these guys are definitely going to have the USFL games on the cruise ship in the sports bar. No, they didn't. They had golf.
They probably had on anything other than that.
Golf.
Yeah. Golf does take precedent over minor league football.
And I was like, really? And I went to go ask and see if there was a bartender that would go change the channel. Every single time I walked in this place at different times, nobody was there. So
John, you're on a cruise ship with a bunch of people that clearly have enough money to go on a cruise. People that have money, they like golf. They don't like USFL football.
Well, I was hopeful for that, man. And they were showing all the other games besides the Celtics basketball games, which brings me into this. Holy crap. Wow.
John, I actually am leaving NBA talk for the Jack and Can show following this. We can talk about what the standings currently are. I don't mind if you want to go through and just tell everybody where everybody stands in their own respective matchups. But I'm here to talk a little puck with you tonight on the round table here, which, by the way, John, I have to point this out. So I'm currently sitting on a bar stool so that I'm more in line with the camera. And I've been calling the last 2 weeks of episodes. I've been calling it the sports bar stool because, what's the point of calling it a round table if I'm by myself? And ironically, it just hit me today. Oh, let me see if one of these bar stools works. I missed the boat entirely on this. I could have this bar stool here the last 2 weeks, been calling it the bar stool while sitting on a bar stool, and I didn't. I'm sitting there in that same sweet ass computer chair that I love way more than this bar stool. But the bar stool puts me in line with the camera at least.
You
So
look great.
hey, thanks, man. But John, we're gonna talk some hockey here, is what we're
Well,
gonna
wait
talk
1
about.
second before you talk about a
Oh,
little
there's something
hockey,
else
real
I want to
quick.
get us into before we get there too.
Let me just give the where everything is at in the NBA, and then
Go
we'll
for
tease that leading up.
Oh, why don't you do that for the NBA and the NHL? Go over all the series.
Here we go. So for NBA, damn, Colbs, it was a close one over there with the Celtics, man, in game 3 at least, 103 to 101. I just have to point that out because the Celtics should have won that game. But anyhow, this is what we're sitting at currently. All right. We are sitting at Miami leading the series 3-2 over the 76ers. Wow. We'll talk more about that later, but wow, holy crap. They need to change it around. We got Phoenix leading 3-2. We got the Bucks in the Celtics series tied at 2-2. And I do have to mention this. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later, but the Celtics currently up 98 compared to the Bucks 87. So they're in good shape to pull this one off here. We got the Warriors leading 3-1 in that series over the Grizzlies. And that's where we are at with NBA. Did I miss anybody there?
No, you got all 8 teams. Now, John, can you go through the NHL bracket for us just to really complete a who's on top the right way?
Here we go. So to complete that, this is what we got going on over there. Woof. All right, I know this was a little bit of time since, but I didn't realize this until just now. We got the Colorado Avalanche, who completely wiped out the Predators 4-0. Complete sweep. We got the Carolina. Oh, no. Oh, my heart. Wait a minute. Does that mean the Bruins are done? No. Okay, the Bruins still got a chance. That series. Carolina, though, 3-2 over the Bruins. I got a little nervous. I was just reading through it. I thought the Bruins were completely done because I saw the loss the other day there yesterday. We got Toronto leading the series 3-2 over the Maple Leafs, and we got the St. Louis Blues leading the series 3-2 over the Wild. We have the Kings over the Oilers in that series 3-2, and we have this one's breaking my heart. We got the Penguins 3-1 over the Rangers, but the Rangers are winning. They are playing right now currently, and they're in the third period with 16:36 left. So Colts, the Rangers better pull it freaking off. We got the Capitals and the Panthers series tied at 2 apiece. And let's see, Stars and Flames series tied at 2 apiece. I think I hit everybody there for the NHL. Did I miss anybody, Colbs?
I'm not sure if you called Tampa Toronto, but other than
Yeah,
that,
Tampa, Toronto.
Okay. I wasn't sure if I heard them or not, but that was the only other series that I was waiting to hear.
John, if I didn't, Toronto's leading 3-2 over the Maple Leafs. There you go.
So, John, the only 2 series that I really want to talk about, and we're going to get there in a little bit, but I do have something to follow up with. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals series, and I want to talk about, obviously, the Hurricanes Bruins series. But, John, while you were gone, or at least since I have last seen you and spoken with you, there was an NFL draft that took place. Now, as we know, the NFL is the king of all sports, at least in America, and we're in America, John. So we're going to try to talk a little bit about what a lot of people use as one of the largest spectacles in all of the sports fandom, the NFL draft. Did you have any big takeaways from the NFL draft? Now, I talked extensively about it over the last couple of weeks, really more or less covering first rounds than anything else. I covered the Seahawks pretty well through, but beyond them, I mostly covered what I saw in the first round, what I liked, what I didn't care for as much. John, what did you see?
You know what's funny? When I was out on vacation, I did see that come through when we were at some of the restaurants, and we would go out, like earlier on in the day, go back later, and I just forgot how long the NFL draft lasts. And you
Yeah,
keep
it's
on
3
looking up.
days.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like you're in a time loop. It's like, oh wait, okay, yeah, all right, yeah. The Packers are back on the clock. Okay, yeah, I remember they had a pick yesterday. So, Colts. My takeaway from the NFL draft is that it was super long, and that's how I kicked off vacation. Was somehow the NFL draft was on every single TV in the restaurants that we went to. So that is my takeaway from the NFL draft.
Okay, fair enough. I thought maybe I'd get something out of you.
Nope.
Maybe a quick Cowboys take. Nothing. Okay.
All right, I
John
got a
has
quick take for you. I saw a Jets player get drafted, and it seemed like he had a great time. He was super happy, and his family was crying, but there was no volume on TV and there was no subtitles. So I don't know if he was sad or if he was excited. I'm hoping he was excited.
well, he's going to
be
the
drafted
Jets.
by
It
the
could be a
Jets.
mixture.
So that's my takeaway. I want to know, is he happy or is he sad? So
Well, John, they drafted 3 guys in the first round, so I'm not even sure which guy you're talking about. I know they got Sauce Gardner with their first pick at the number 4 spot. That's probably who you're talking about, but I mean, it could have been any of the 3
It
guys.
could have been day 3. I have no clue.
It could have been day 3. Oh God. Okay, so John clearly was not paying any attention to the draft. All right.
I just saw the celebration.
No, at this point, the audience already knows the majority of my thoughts and views. If for whatever reason you don't, go back and listen to the last, not really so much last week, but the week before, I covered a pretty good bit of the NFL draft, particularly the first round and the Seahawks entirety. Now, John, we're going to talk a little puck because one of my favorite times of year is right now because every night I have basketball and I have hockey every single night. And this is when hockey is at its finest, man. I was telling you before we got on air here that I was dog sitting a little bit ago. And while I'm sitting there watching the dogs, Michelle and the dogs go up to bed, and I'm sitting down with just myself, really. And I'm watching West Coast hockey till like 1 a.m. just because I love watching playoff hockey. And once I started the game, I couldn't stop. There wasn't like an off switch to hit. It wasn't like, well, I caught the second period. All right, I don't need to watch the end of this. Hell no. No, if that game's close going into the third, I am watching that whole game. So, John, with that said, I want to start off and talk a little bit about the Florida Panthers and Washington Capitals series. So, the Washington Capitals obviously come in bringing back a large chunk of the team that was there when they won the Cup just 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, potentially 3. I might have it a little bit off in my head, but it wasn't all that long ago that they won the Cup. Now, the Florida Panthers, on the other hand, they're not really the youngest team by any means, but they have very inexperienced players when it comes to playoff experience. So we've actually watched somewhat of a battle here because, John, the Florida Panthers were the top seed in the Eastern Conference and won the President's Trophy, meaning that they were the number 1 team by points in the entirety of the NHL through the regular season. They have ridiculous offensive stats. Like they've scored 6 or more goals more times than they've had less than 3. It's unbelievable how effective that offense has been throughout this whole season. And Washington, man, they've just done what they've wanted to do against Florida. It's been really tough to watch because I've been trying to go into this rooting for the Panthers. They haven't won anything since 96. So I've been rooting for the Panthers just to bring something to the table. And they're having a hard time getting into the zone, let alone score goals. They're having a hard time crossing the blue line with the puck. So it's gotten to a place where you're looking at this as a 2-2 series, and they won in overtime in game 4 just to make this a 2-2 series. I know they're currently playing, and I'm hoping that we get done with these episodes in time for me to watch the end of the game. Although if it's already 3-0, then I'm probably not going to. But every time that I've been watching this, I'm like, what the hell happened to the team that in the regular season was just nonstop goal, 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 goal? I don't know if they're playing necessarily. I don't want to use the term scared because I don't think that that's a good way to categorize what they're doing, but they're playing as if the pressure is on and they can't make a mistake rather than play their game. And because they're not doing so, they're just falling into whatever Washington wants them to do, which is more or less going to lead to Washington getting the puck. And then they got that Ovechkin monster out there that you're just
Yeah.
waiting on when's he going to go shoot the puck because that's scary. Every time he shoots a puck, you're like, oh God, it's probably in the back of the net already. And he's still like winding up the shot. He's just got the stick held back. And you're still just like, now I feel like that's going in. I don't care what happens when he hits that puck. I know it's going to end up at the back of the net.
He's a monster. I saw some of the highlights from when I was on the ship, and that's what I've just been catching little glimpses of just through ESPN.
Dude, well, one of the things that's funny about Ovechkin too, and most of the time when you get the star scoring player, they don't do a whole lot of the other stuff. They're just the scorer. No, Ovechkin hits people. He fights people. Ovechkin is an all-around hockey player, man. Like, that's not just a guy that looks pretty and shoots goals. That's not his game. His game is to be gritty, big, in your face the whole game. And on top of it, yeah, he scores all the goals. Like, he's got to be, I don't know exactly where he ranks, but I'm sure he's top 10 in goals scored all time already. I mean, granted, he's already like 36 or 37, something like that. So, I mean, he only has so much career left, but he's got to be in the top 10. Pull it up, John. Who are the top 10 goal scorers? Where on there is Ovechkin? Because he has to be. Like, I know that 1 and 2 is Gretzky and Lemieux. After that, I don't know who's where, but Ovechkin's got to be on there somewhere.
Oh, wow. Okay, if you had to take a guess, what number do you think he's at?
I was actually going to say like 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there.
Third.
Holy shit. So he's right behind Lemieux and Gretzky.
Well, the top 2 were Gretzky, Gordie Howe.
Oh, the Gordie Howe.
Whoops.
Ex-Bruin. John.
And Ovechkin. Yeah. Dude, that's the top 3 right there.
Huh. How about that? Okay. Where's Lemieux on that list? I would have sworn he was number 2.
Lemieux. I'm looking for him. I'm trying to track him down.
Is he not in the top 10?
What's his first name?
Mario
Lemieux. Canadian ice hockey player. Let's see here. Goals scored. Whoa. 690.
Yeah, I mean, where would that put him?
So he's not even in the
10?
top 10.
Oh my God. Okay. I am
No,
mistaken.
you had Gretzky. What is it? How? Ovechkin. Oh my God, I'm the king at hacking names. J-A-G-R.
Yeah, I know this is not the sport.
J-A-G-R.
Jaromir Jagr.
Damn, you're good. Hull. We got
Hull.
Yep. We got Diani. Marcel Diani. Is that
that's Dione.
Phil Esposito.
Yep.
Mike Gartner.
Yep.
All right, and yeah, that's the top 10.
Okay. How about that? All right, I learned something new today, guys. John, the other series that we're going to talk about is obviously our Bruins. John and I are big Bruins fans. So, John, kind of similarly to Florida struggling to get into the zone, Boston has really had a hard time bringing the puck into the zone. Like every time that they've tried different stuff. This is not that they've just been beating their head against the wall trying the same thing. They've done some dump and chase. They've been out physical getting to the puck. They've been out speeded getting to the puck. They've tried carrying it in on their own, but inevitably somebody pokes the puck away or somebody lifts a stick and the puck ends up free and in Carolina's sticks. Now, John, we've had the 2 games at home where we looked awesome. And that's the real difference maker. When it's been in Carolina, they have dominated us. And when it's been in Boston, we've dominated them. I hear people saying that Carolina's been playing way better this whole series. No. Games 3 and 4, Boston was relentless. And by the way, our perfection line with Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak, those guys were lighting up the lamps in games 3 and 4. Like, I'm telling you, John, everything you would want to see from those guys. They were just playing smart, getting the puck to each other, right in perfect shooting positions. And we were seeing some really beautiful goals out there. And then game 5 came, and I'm like, okay, that's what we needed. Because at the end of game 2, Boston, while being down 2-0 in the series, and you knew they were going to lose game 2, like there was just like maybe 4 minutes left. And Boston started getting physical with Carolina. And I said, that's perfect. that's what they need so that when they come back to Boston, they've already got a little bit of that physicality edge because they're going to be able to utilize that with the Boston fans screaming in the background. They're going to get physical right off the bat, and they're going to end up putting some bucks in the net. I know how this goes. I thought it was going to continue going back to Carolina, and that did not happen. Holy shit. Now, they came in to Carolina screaming. They went in there looking real good. Their first, probably, I'd say about the whole first period, but nothing got past. I don't remember what Carolina's goaltender's name is. I do apologize. Carolina, it's not that I don't love your area of the country. I just don't care for your hockey team. So their goaltender was able to keep everything out. And then from there, Carolina was just chipping away at it, goals in.
Renata. Antiranta. How the frig?
I'm pretty sure
names.
That's Aranta.
Aranta.
Maybe even Aranta.
They have the most difficult names, hockey players, to pronounce.
Well, yeah, none of them are from our land, John. They're all from lands that we are not familiar with.
But Colbs, as we said, we got the easiest names on the planet, so that's probably why too.
Yeah, John and the Shifty Hippo.
It's John Falco.
But no, John, in all seriousness, I'm looking forward to Game 6 tomorrow. It'll be back in Boston, so I think we have a real shot here. The thing is we've got to create the offense pretty much immediately, or else I could see Carolina taking this in 6 games. I don't think we can rely on, we'll get it at some point this game. I think we got to go out there firing. And even if they're not the best shots, as the great one once said, John, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I think we just got to launch the pucks right at the net, go chase the puck, crash the net, get in there. We'll make it happen. We can start working around trying to get some pretty passes out there as the game goes along. But I think we need to come out swinging hard. And by that, I just mean the puck's in front of you, slap it at the net, and then go chase it. I think that's the best way that we're going to be able to start up an offense, because what we've been doing hasn't been working. And it worked in Boston, but I don't want to chance it all on one game of, hey, you know what? Let's just assume that because we're back at home that we're going to play better. No, it's not going to work like that, because we also have to figure out something to do in a Game 7 in Carolina, even if we win this. So I think that that's our best strategy, John.
Have you had any opportunities to check out the Rangers? You know, I've been pulling for them.
No, but I have gotten some commentary from Zach in the little video chat thing that we do, because he's been watching the games and he'll talk about them. But no, every night the Panthers series and the Bruins series have been on opposing nights, so every night I've had one of the two of them to watch. And obviously I'm also watching NBA playoffs, which we'll get into in the Jack and Can show following this episode. And I've not had time to give a shit about the Rangers. I'm sorry, John. I know that you want to root for them. I couldn't care less about the Rangers. The only other series that I paid really any attention to at all is the Tampa-Toronto series.
Why?
Because, well, you know that I grew up near Tampa, so Tampa's always been a team that's been somewhat near and dear to my heart. And also I found interesting that their offense has been relatively well shut down from Toronto, because that wasn't something that was anticipated, expected, any of the above. We really just thought that Toronto was going to come in there and kind of be the first stepping stone for Tampa to get past, and it hasn't happened. So it's been kind of a fun watch. I know that from the points perspective, if you will, from the season, that you would think, oh, yeah, well, Toronto can hang with them. But we saw this last year where Tampa, come playoff time, they said, okay, let's play for real. And they just smoked everybody. So that's kind of what I was anticipating here in the first round. And Toronto has put their foot down, or I guess in this case, their skate down. And they have not let Tampa do what Tampa likes to do. It's been fun.
Hell yeah, man. NHL playoff hockey. We just got to root for those Bruins so they can continue on, and the Rangers.
Dude, John, tomorrow night, I am so ready for the Bruins. There is nothing that will be clearing anything out for me. I got Heat Game 6 tomorrow night, too, that I really want to watch, but the Bruins take precedent.
Jimmy Butler putting on the Jets, but we'll talk about more of that a little bit here coming up. So that's actually a perfect way to end this Jacked and Can Roundtable episode. We're going to be back. Make sure you stay tuned. Check out the next episode that's coming up for the Jacked and Can show. We're going to be diving into detail about those NBA playoffs and see exactly what's going on. Remember to rate, review, subscribe. Ladies and gents, it's good to be back. Coles, stick around. Don't go anywhere because we got another one coming up here.